Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving headfirst into the massive shifts rocking India's job market. We're going to look at the future of work, the economy, and business, all between now and 2030. So yeah, let's get right into it. Let's start with a really big number, 6.4%. I mean, that is the incredible growth rate the IMF is forecasting for India's economy in the next fiscal year. To give you some perspective, that is one of the highest growth rates for any major economy on the entire planet. It's a powerful figure, you know? It paints a picture of a seriously booming future. But a number like that, it kind of begs a bigger question, right? What's the real story bubbling up underneath all this explosive growth? Where are the jobs actually coming from? And maybe more importantly, where are they going? That is exactly what we are here to break down. To really get a handle on the future, we have to understand what's happening right now. So in our first section, we're going to look at what's actually fueling this incredible economic performance. So what's the engine behind that 6.4% figure? Well, the IMF points to three main things. First, incredibly strong domestic demand. People are buying stuff. Second, massive public investment in things like infrastructure. And third, ongoing structural reforms that are just making the whole economy run more smoothly. Think of this as the solid foundation that everything else is being built on top of. Okay, let's move on. Now we get to introduce the main character in this whole story, a force that is both creating and, well, destroying opportunity at a speed we've never seen before: artificial intelligence. And what's really fascinating here is how AI is evolving. It's not just a tool anymore. We're entering this new phase that people are calling the agent economy. So what on earth does that mean? It means AI agents are starting to move beyond just doing simple tasks. They're starting to create genuine, independent business value. This is a huge shift in how we even think about technology's role in the workplace. And this really gets to the heart of the conflict. The best way to think about AI is like a two-sided coin. On one side, it is an engine of just immense opportunity. It's creating entirely new industries. It's supercharging productivity. But you flip that coin over, and it represents a pretty significant risk: automating existing jobs and displacing traditional roles on a massive scale. All right, so let's start with the good news, the opportunity side of that coin. In this section, we're focusing on the absolute explosion of new roles and new industries being fueled by technology and innovation all across India. You want to see a job creation machine? Look no further than the startup ecosystem. Just look at these numbers. The Startup India initiative, on its own, has created over 1.7 million direct jobs. Then you add in other initiatives like the Atoll Innovation Mission and new venture parks, and you see a really clear trend: entrepreneurship is a huge source of new employment. So where is all the money flowing? Into these hotbeds of investment. I mean, we're talking about a fintech sector with 26 unicorns valued at $90 billion. An e-commerce market that's hitting almost $150 billion this year. And huge investments pouring into digital infrastructure like data centers and cutting-edge deep tech. Every single one of these represents a whole new universe of jobs. Okay, so we've seen the incredible growth, but now we have to flip the coin. Let's look at the other side of the story, the really profound challenge of automation and job displacement. Now, I want you to take a good look at this number, 9.2 crore. That is 92 million traditional jobs in India that the World Economic Forum says are at risk from automation. Just let that sink in for a second. This is not a small disruption. It's a potential workforce transformation on a scale we have just never seen before. And listen, this isn't some far-off prediction. It's happening right now. Tech giants like Infosys and TCS are already using AI models that are reducing their need for human workers in certain roles by up to 35%. They are right at the forefront of this shift. So here's the crucial point. It is not a simple one-for-one replacement. This table, which focuses on the IT and BPO sector, shows the equation really clearly. By 2030, while automation might create about 1.6 lakh new high-level roles, it's putting 6.4 lakh entry-level service jobs at risk. There's a pretty significant gap there. So who is most affected by this wave of automation? Well, it's primarily roles that are repetitive and based on a clear set of rules. We're talking about jobs like data entry operators, clerical staff, and entry-level call center agents. These are the jobs on the absolute front lines of the AI revolution. So, this brings us to our final section. We've seen the massive opportunity on one hand and the stark challenge on the other. This isn't just an economic trend, you guys. It's a defining moment,
a moment of choice and adaptation for the entire country.
The stakes could not possibly be higher. This quote from Stephen Azell at the ITEF, it just lays it out in stark terms. The path India chooses on AI investment and policy reform is going to have trillion-dollar consequences. It will literally determine the fate of millions of future jobs.
So what's the game plan here? It really boils down to a three-part mission. First, you have to lean into the growth, fully commit to fueling these new industries that are creating jobs. Second, you got to build a bridge for those whose roles are being automated. Don't just accept disruption, you have to manage it. And third, you have to prepare the workforce for what's next through massive investment in new skills. It's not one or the other. Success depends on doing all three at the same time. Ultimately, this brings us to our final critical question. The future of work in India isn't a simple story of job gains or job losses. It's a story of job transformation. The real question isn't whether there will be jobs, but whether the workforce will be ready for the very different jobs that are coming. Is India ready for that change? That's the question to ponder.